We're doing this video because I want to make sure that everyone that does this program has a clear understanding of how these flow cycles actually function. On the left-hand side here, what you're seeing is the equations we created for each of these functions. So for example, running is indicating that a male would subtract his age from 180 and add 15 beats per minute to achieve a predicted anaerobic threshold. A female would do the same. No difference between genders in this particular segment with running. However, I did indicate that if you're over 200 pounds, great likelihood is that you're only going to want to add 5 beats per minute to the equation here. And women, same thing, over 150 pounds. On a rower, there's a little bit of difference, 5 beats per minute difference between the man and the woman. And believe me when I tell you, 5 beats per minute can make a big difference in where the energy is coming from. And then here on the flow cycle, you could see a little less, adding 10 beats per minute as opposed to 15. And across the board, man and woman. And then on the ski erg, same thing. So not a lot of difference, but there's a little bit of difference and enough to frustrate you. So I wanted to make sure that we pointed this out. All right, so this is a sample of the flow cycle. And if you begin at the bottom, you work your way up and you'll see the progression, 150, 155, 165 beats per minute. And now, based on being on a treadmill and being 30 years old, you would achieve your anaerobic threshold. And then you're going to move on up to 170 beats per minute and then ultimately to 175 beats per minute, which is essentially 10 beats above your threshold. Hold that for 30 seconds and then start winding your way back down. And as is indicated here, the progression to achieve the target. So we're calling this the target. The progression to reach this target should be about 5 minutes. So you're working your way up, gradually escalating your heart rate till you get to this point, hold it for 30 seconds, and then you start working your way back down. The whole process should be 5 minutes on the way up and about 4.5 minutes on the way down. Now you're going to notice over the course of these different flow cycles in the workouts that these values will change. But basically the same concept. You look at the amount of time it takes to get to your target if there is one, and then you roll back out for the timeline that's offered. These shaded values here is just to complete my little flow cycle, and count this as the time as you're winding down and so on. And then you would begin again. In this case, you see that there's only one cycle. In some cases, there may be as many as 4 trips around the infinity cycle. It just depends on what we're trying to get done timeline-wise. While I've got you here, I want to point out that if you have workouts that really work for you, that you really feel comfortable, and you just want to add these flow cycles to them, you're welcome to do that. I would recommend that you give our workouts a shot, and as you start to get into the weeks, you might start noticing that somewhere along the way you may want to add or change up a workout to add your workout or whatever. You know, we're going to give you the levity to do that, but I'm telling you, if you just follow the workouts we provided you, you're going to get an amazing outcome.